free to try to pick off some of these softer targets, mainly just a Rubik, really. Even Snapfire can be a bit tanky, so your main target will be the Rubik, and you can start clearing objectives. Early smoke out here, though. GRIN.
Going to be broken. RRL will spot everyone out here on the side of GRIN, and immediately Ravens are just separating and just dissipating. They do not want to be around for this level 1 team fight when they're off position here. So now grouping up, they might be able to turn and try to force a fight. They haven't got the worst level team fight we've ever seen.
30 seconds to battle.
They'll wait around for now on the high ground, see if they can find themselves a decent position to try and force a fight. Kara will move down. GRIN have now separated quite a bit themselves, so Raven's going to find themselves a nice early observer ward here in the mid lane. That's going to feel quite nice. And well, with that, GRIN have seen enough. They'll leave the area. They'll secure the top bounties instead. And that they will be able to get away with. So it should be a 2-for-2 trade. Pretty even kind of start between both sides. And we'll start off with the bottom lane again while we're here, John. You're going to have Kara and LGTK going at it. And of course, you're also going to have Muzi against Argus here on the POS1 Bloodseeker. What do you think about this bottom lane? Like, do you think the Techies Bloodseeker is going to be enough against this LC Rubik? Because we've seen this LC prove to be very, very sustainable throughout pretty much any lane.
Yeah, it's just pretty hard to zone out. I think this lane is down to how well the supports zone each other out. Like, if Kara can shove LGTK away, you can start playing with Blood Riot and Sticky Bomb once the levels are up for Argus. If not, then, you know, if LGTK manages to work his Fade Vault and zone Kara away, Muzi should be able to deal with a 1v1 lane pretty alright. Although, Argus going for the level 1 first should be fine. Can just always lifesteal back up. As long as his lane management goes well, Muzi has to be on point with the denies here. And let's see, and already a lot of damage out into Muzi.
Yeah, they landed the Blood Grenade as well. Muzi really has no way out of this, and he's just gone. It's not very often you see level 1 Thirst on a Bloodseeker. Usually they do go down the Blood Riot route, but that is not the case here. Argus just really abusing this quite a lot as LGTK now in danger. Meanwhile, across the map, Salivating Salamander's being chased down. Argus has got a double kill, and ultimately Salivating Salamander at least denies himself off to the neutral camp. But still, this safe lane has started off so well here, as Argus is just still going. Muzi now in danger, but they won't have a third Blood Grenade to throw out. This double Blood Grenade opening from Kara really paying off. And he's already got another one queued up, but it is, you know, it's on cooldown. You've got to wait to buy it.
Not quite available yet. The aggression, again, coming out from Argus, a much better sign than his performance in Game 1. He's already managed to suppress Muzi quite a fair bit. For Muzi's part, you kind of need to wait out your level 3 and maybe even level 4 to start to feel better in this lane. Like, level 2 overwhelming odds is when the damage can really start to feel pretty damn good into these heroes, start to punish a little bit better. At the very least, again, your top lane isn't too bad here. For the side of GRIN, like, Soul should just be able to farm up. Nothing will stop the mag here from just kind of taking control and just kind of getting that build-up you'd want. Ro Fireflu, his mid lane matchup, maybe not the best. Again, this is not too bad for a Pango. Mid Batrider has kind of faded away for good reason. But this is still, you know, a melee lane for a Batrider to work with, so it's not too bad to play with the Napalm. It's not too bad to try to work with a Flame Drake and just try to chip away at RRL eventually.
Couldn't help but notice as well. I just I forgot to mention I saw a tweet from Sunlight from our previous series, of course. Apparently their mid laner just realized that Raindrops gives mana regen. So shout out to RCY, who apparently didn't know that. You see, John, people give us crap a lot for not knowing the most complicated things as casters, but pro players apparently don't know Raindrops gives mana regen. So I feel a lot better about ourselves now, John. Muzi, he might not be feeling too good about himself. Nice lift to cancel the blast off, though. Does save the life of Muzi. But my god, this is proving to be an extremely challenging lane for the LC.
Yeah, this is not a good time for Muzi at all. This bot lane's just kind of disastrous. Free farm coming out from Argus. No pressure at all. Muzi not able to farm up, not able to soak up the XP he'd want to safely. So your level spikes are going to be impacted as well on the LC. You are starting to get some rotations onto mid to stop Rojo Fire Flu.
Rojo Fire Flu, he's running. Wake Me Up though with the slow, doing a pretty damn good job of chasing him down. But in the end, Rojo is going to prove to be able to walk out of here. In fact, he's going to try and even think about turning onto the Clinks, but decides better off. Needs to get back into the laning stage and try to get that farm going once again. But with this low HP pool, he does have to be pretty cautious with his positioning.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward. RRL is just able to control that pressure, not under too much threat from the Bat Rider. Do find top at least.
The Omni going down again here. Not the best of news if you are Ravens. Meanwhile, bottom lane, LGTK going to find himself in danger and is going to go down. Another nice pick up for Ravens. So Muzi getting very aggressive. So much damage being told, and Argus really playing with fire there. John getting lucky there wasn't a moment of courage proc for that last hit from Muzi. Otherwise, I believe he would have just been dead. Nevertheless, this bot lane, the safe lane of Ravens just going so damn well.
Yeah, it's kind of a good contrast with up top. Like, it's also a pretty damn good time for Soul, but not as good of a time as it is for Argus right now. And you're just not able to punish when these heroes are low. You just can't chase down on that LC when the Trist is active. I'm wondering if Muzi will actually opt for to press the attack just to have an option to chase with that extra move speed. We'll see down the line. 6-minute power runes coming up, so all the supports heading down mid to help secure. Rojo Firefly getting priority, and does manage to find himself a haste rune. On the Bat Rider, that's a major pickup, just that he doesn't have the lasso to play with just yet.
That he does not. Now he does, to be fair. Level 6 just hit now. And in the meantime, Wake Me Up going to go down to Soul. Tips out here from Salivating Salamander. Soul doing some fantastic work, of course, on the Magnus. Having a great old time himself now. 2-0-1 in terms of KDA. So, you know, both safe lanes have been going extremely well for both sides of things. In fact, even the CS is very even between these two position ones. 37 to 36. Really, you know, not much of a difference here between these two. So, speaking of Soul, in fact, hold on a minute. RRL is going to rotate, trying to get something done against this Magnus. And looks like he will catch him out with the Rolling Thunder Stun. Wake Me Up to take the kill. And that's something you felt like you desperately needed here as Ravens. And it proves to be a very good rotation here from RRL as Rojo Fireflu in the meantime. We'll go for a bit of a dive here onto Kara, and we'll have no issues securing the kill onto the techies.
Nice little pickup for him, finally popping that haste rune. Doesn't manage to relieve pressure on the side lanes, but makes the best out of it by finding a freebie on his mid. I think for the side of Ravens, you're more than happy with the state of the game. Again, Argus's farm is it's so damn high. They will find RRL eventually with a bit of a dive.
RRL going down, big kill here from Rojo Fireflu, who he's trying to get out, but ultimately realizes with the blast off available, he is not going to make it. But getting the Pango kill, I mean, you already feel amazing anyway. You don't really mind dying and getting the reset. Muzi, bottom lane. Gonna avoid the blood right. Let's lift up there from LGTK. So Argus has hit level 6 and can go for the rupture, but it is on cooldown. Looks like he already expended it earlier on. Still, I mean, this LC stuck at level 4 right now. It's just a complete wash down at the bot lane at the moment. Now hits level 5. Rojo is actually rotated on the Bat Rider to try and slow down this Bloodseeker just a little bit. Lasso is up, but the Flame Break is a little bit off the mark. Fireflu still looking to chase, but does get ruptured now into the Blood Rider, and Kara's going to show up on the techies. Can you avoid the blast off? You certainly can. Rojo is still alive, still just trying to juke and jive his way out of this scenario, and he's going to be fine. They are not able to pick the Bat Rider off. Mind you, Rojo did rotate to kill the Bloodseeker, so in a sense, just surviving here for Ravens is probably a pretty big win.
It is definitely quite a big win. You really need this kill on the Bloodseeker to start to feel comfy. They're making plays down mid though.
Salivating Salamander really has no way out of this scenario. Raindrops will help him just a little bit, but now Rojo has shown up. RRL does not have the swashbuckle to commit. Skewer is there. Kara, though, with a nice blast off, trying to get Rojo, and they will get him on the Batrider as well. Soul, at the very least, does get Wake Me Up, but they do miss out on the big kill on the Pangolier. Props to the supports of Ravens rotating at the right time to ensure that their mid laner does remain alive.
And they're punishing really hard on GRIN. Like, this is a slow start for Rojo Fireflu, and he's trying to pick up the pace for his team. He knows he's got to be active just because Muzi can't be active. And simply because, well, again, very hard laying up against the Bloodseeker. That did end up happening. So this activity is impacting his farm. It's impacting, say, the Travel's timing. Now he's just going for the Vanguard instead. So you don't have that hyper-fast Batrider on hand anytime soon. At least there's some room for stacks coming out here. Muzi will start clearing a couple of that now.
RP committed top lane. Taliano not having the greatest off lane of his life. Kisses, though, are going to be mostly avoided, but still with the cookie landing and the scatter blast to follow, they will end up finding the off lane Omni Knight once again. Another nice kill here for the side of GRIN as well, in the dire triangle. Duel committed. Muzi able to pick up his first duel victory, immediately looking for a TP out, and he's going to make it. Very nice plays. They will lose their Rubik, but regardless, I mean, the duel victory is going to feel quite nice, and the LC, I mean, he desperately needs it. He's at such a rough laning stage.
One dual win can make all the difference. That's already at least one plate and one chainmail up, so the build up into the blade mail is coming in. And again, a very even game so far, 8-8. 1k up for Ravens, but you're not doing too bad in GRIN. You're kind of suffering in the same heroes. Like, both your safe lanes are having a good time, your mids are kind of even, your off lanes are in a bad spot. So it's kind of nice that they mirror each other's start here, although could find more.
Salivating Salamander. Slowed up here by the tar bomb. Blast off the mark, though. Now Rojo sees a lot of food around him. Still, RRL is going to try and pounce in for the Rolling Thunder. Rojo actually does get stunned up there for a moment, and now he's kind of trapped in the stairwell. He's actually taking a few stuns here from RRL, but now he's been locked onto the high ground. Argus was there just waiting in the wake, though, as the Bloodseeker does get the kill. Is now Muzi in trouble. Oh, Muzi trying to show up to help out, but going to feed another kill away, as so will LGTK. Ravens really cleaning up with their Bloodseeker Argus. 3 down for GRIN.
Just a little bit unfortunate for that positioning there for Rojo Fireflu. And he had to use Lasso as well onto the techies. Not the primary target you want there. They find themselves a big opening on the side of Ravens. GRIN, I mean, this is space for Soul coming out. But again, he's not managing to get a real net worth lead because of the activity coming out from Argus. He's kind of keeping up pace. Again, he's also had a pretty free lane himself. Another smoke out from Ravens.
Are scanning.
With Kara finding a few bounty runes for himself, can be very happy with that. King's coming out up top lane. They know Soul's farming around that area somewhere. Soul did just pick up his Echo Saber, but would rather not die right now, as it's a nice TP away, barely avoiding the wrath of Ravens. And while that's happening, the GRIN, they will just push down the bottom tier 1 tower and find an objective for themselves by the looks of it.
Yeah. It's a nice little take. A little bit of a freebie coming out. But they are taking the gate through to try and defend.
And they'll have time to do so. The tier 1 tower is not down yet. The GRIN seem to be well aware that this could be happening, so they have backed off. Rightfully so, as Ravens are looking rather scary here with the 4k advantage. Rojo Fireflu now going to show up. Kara going to be jumped immediately. Rojo going to go for the lasso onto the techies with no hesitation. Does pick off one, and now the duel committed. They've got plenty of damage here coming in with the kisses. That will be a 1-for-1 as now an RP. Soul, he's found 3 targets. Oh, that is the dream RP for Soul. RRL trying to get the Rolling Thunder, trying to get some work done here as Italian Gangster has brought back. But it does not look like the fight for RRL. He's down as well. Soul's got a triple. Oh, and that is a perfect initiation from our Magnus. It was a full team wipe. I mean, there was the buyback from Italiano Gangster, but that makes matters even worse for Ravens.
That was just such great patience from Soul to find that opportunity to RP. Sure, you don't manage to find a dual win from Uzi. You know, you don't manage to really start to build up on the LC, but this Magnus, it's starting to become an issue. Especially if you can't rupture the Magnus in place. Like, he's free to do what he wants here. Great combination with the Mortimer Kisses coming out, lining them all up for that big AoE damage. The Wombo combo from GRIN. Not something you can shrug at here for Ravens. And that does equalize from 4K lead to less than 1K lead for GRIN. Swinging back 4K gold themselves. Like that's a massive swing. And it shows a lot. Good signs of life here for the side of GRIN. Soul. I mean, it's just Magnus with Harpoon. You know, the guy can just set up for himself, start dragging all heroes all around, and once Soul has the blink, I mean, if he does that without the blink, with the blink up, I'm a bit worried for Ravens. They're gonna have to respect that and declump a little bit more.
Oh, absolutely. It's not too hard to forget that there's a Magnus waiting for the RP opportunity in these team fights, and it only takes a split second. Is now salivating Salamander. We go down to Kara, so there's your +5 Snapfire there. As seems like the side of Ravens gonna just focus on the mid-tier one here. RRL already doing some great work and taking that one out. Robo 5 Flu is around, but not going to be able to do much in the form of defense here as the Bat Rider. Instead, though, they might find Italiano Gangster on the Omni Knight. He hasn't realized they're around, and he was right on the vision. Jewel out immediately with the skewer play of Soul. Another nice pick up here for GRIN. Second Jewel victory for the LC. This Omni Knight off lane, you know, I was saying I like it, John. It is not paying off at all. Like, you look at the itemization of the Omni so far, he's just trying to survive with this double braces and Soul Ring build-up. The thing is, he has not gone for that classic Harpoon item build that I was talking about earlier in the drafting phase. And I appreciate the aura build-up, but I don't think that's why the Omni Knight core is so strong.
No, definitely not. Still,
nice easy cling skill.
fast punishment.
Salivating Salamander just pretending like there wasn't a sentry ward there. Very good acting there from the Salamander.
Top tier acting from our little lizard man. Just to be expected. I just realized as well, Salivating Salamander is on an actual lizard here. I mean, yeah, isn't that cool? Living up to his name.
He's got the cosmetic of a crocodile, though, Jonathan. So
it's all reptiles in the end, right? Right?
Well, no. I mean, you can't. You know what? If I said that, you would start nitpicking with me. Like,
yes,
no,
yes,
Mike,
yes.
it's not how it works.
So that's not how it works. Shut up!
Wake
God
me
damn.
up. Caught out. He's gonna go down. Very, very nice pickup again here, set up by Soul. And that blink you talked about earlier, Jonathan, it is now on the way. So the Magnus just got a hell of a lot scarier.
It's not going to be fun playing into this Soul. Oh,
Kara's going to get the experience. Instantly getting bursted down by Soul. So I think you almost wish the LC was here. Like, Muzi just had free duel opportunities just then that he just didn't take advantage of. And, well, rightfully so. GRIN are tipping their POS 1 Magnus, and he is doing a really damn good job at the moment. That's for sure.
he's been on point. Again, his lane was the one lane that came out well for the side of GRIN. Instantly smoke out, take the gate true. No ward to watch that gate. Could find a nice kill in Argus, but he has backed off at the right time. Let's see if they commit all the way into that triangle here.
They can find the Bloodseeker, that's massive. Like Argus, he's been trying to get as much free farm as he possibly can for the last 5 minutes or so, but well, they're actually going to rotate mid lane instead.
Oh,
Wake Me Up going to break the smoke. Do they have the dust? They did on Salivating Salamander, but he never uses it. Top lane, speaking of the devil, Salivating Salamander still being stalked here by this Clinks. And really just can't survive the damage output with the Solar Crest. Argus even showing up just in case, but was not required. Meanwhile, mid lane, though, a Skewer and RP committed onto RRL, but he got the roll up in time, and now he's got the Rolling Thunder. Soul did not have the backup he required. He went in by himself, and he's going to pay heavily for it. Now, Muzi gets caught out. Muzi, I mean, he's just not going to survive, even with the Pervisor.
I don't understand.
Those are the kind of plays you just go, why? Why bother, like, going for that RP attempt?
I don't know, maybe just a little bit overconfident there on Soul, but
Dire's middle tower is
his
under
team was split up. You know, you saw Rojo Fireflu head up top, and no one was there to back him up. No duel opportunity coming out for the LC. Just like that, you lose your lead. Back to a 3K lead for Ravens off the back of those really awkward fights. GRIN. Have to be careful about bleeding out like that, because this is still a really good tempo coming out from Ravens, especially with Wake Me Up. He's going to have Desolator up. You're going to have a Clunks problem, despite all the deaths he's copped. Clunks still an insane farmer. And the objectives is the big part. The objectives melting this fast from Clunks is going to be worrisome. Still a smoke out here from GRIN, no RP. So Soul isn't really going to be taking point, but they can try to get something done here.
Here we go again. Just noticed as well the Clinks is building a Desolator, so there's that. He's going for that standard, you know, carry Clinks build once you do get enough farm up, as Roshan has begun. You do have the side of GRIN around, and they're going to find this techies immediately. The Kara won't mind. He's buying a lot of space for Roshan, but no, they're actually going in for the fight. There goes the techies now. Kara finally going down, but Ravens are moving in. They have actually found the Omni, though, with the jewel out. There is going to be Italian Gangster going down. Muzi picks up his jewel victory here on the LC, and now RRL, when he has a swashbuckle to get out, but the chase is still ongoing. Bit of a slow process for him. Blinks away. Soul has the harpoon to drag him back, but again, another swashbuckle away. It's Muzi trying to get within range to do something. RRL surely goes down, and eventually will. Meanwhile, Wake Me Up picked off Salivating Salamander again on the Clinks. But you did lose your, half your squad there, which is not great news if you are Ravens. Like, you might lose more now. Lincoln's broken on Argus, but they are not going to try and go for the jump in. GRIN, though, they're kind of backing in a very separated way. They're going to lose LDTK. And they've actually left Roshan as well. Roshan's sitting at 2/3 HP at the moment. And it seems like Ravens are actually going to go right back to the Roshan pit and try to finish this one off.
It's going to be a big win for them. Should be able to find it no problem. I mean, the RP is ready from GRIN. Soul could make a move in, but they backed off completely. And, well, it's going to be a first Roche of the game going Ravens' way. GRIN just missing out on the opportunity, and that could set them back. Having the secondary life up on Argus, keeping up front, could provide a lot of openings out for the side of Ravens. GRIN, they still have some play opportunities. I really like what they have been seeing out from Muzi. You know, going for the duel straight up on Italiano Gangstar. We've not seen a Guardian Angel come out at all. We've not seen a Heavenly Grace to break Lasso. Like, none of these counterfights are shaping up just because Muzi's been on point with his targeting.
Yeah, I mean, usually the Omni Knight seems to be just getting jeweled every team fight, and it's been working out very, very well. And Italiano Gangster, like, going back to his farm, he just finished the pipe 23 minutes into the game. But that's a slow one, to say the least. I mean, at least he has it now, I guess. That's some good news, but certainly could have used it 5-10 minutes ago, that's for sure. Anyway, the beggars can't be choosers. It's here now.
Yeah, you take what you can get. I think the side of GRIN, well, they're building up more damage on Soul. Trying to go for the full Daedalus now with a BKB up and running. You should feel safer in the middle of these fights. You know, you have a lot of output already. Combine that with the Daedalus down the line, Soul is going to look to rip them apart. They just need to angle themselves into these fights. They need to commit a lot of sentries. Because quite frankly, their big issue right now is waking me up, breaking their smokes, and picking off their supports. That's the one thing kind of ruining them right now on the side of GRIN. Smoke out from Ravens here.
What do they find with this, though? Like, Muzi's showing in the mid lane right now. Not the worst target to try and jump, but it seems as though they will not try to go for the LC. Top lane, Argus is just going to start forcing the tier 2 top tower. Like, he's got the protection of the Aegis, so he's feeling safe enough, I think. And GRIN aren't exactly trying to prepare for a defense either. They're just kind of letting him do this. They'll use the glyph for now. But it seems like Argus is going to stick around trying to force a fight here from GRIN. It seems like they're just going to get away with it for free. Argus is literally just doing this on his own. And again, GRIN are not responding at all. The rest of Ravens are just hanging around the mid lane right now, seeing if they can set up a fight there. But GRIN, they finally do smoke up. They're heading up top. Soul has already actually found Argus on his own. RP is still available, by the way. He got ruptured up on the mag, but he won't mind as the RP now comes out. Dual committed as well on the Bloodseeker, but they don't have the damage output. They don't have the damage output. They stacked everything. Argus is still alive, still trying to find a way up, and Soul is back on top. Soul picks off the Bloodseeker. Problem is they have lost 2 cores on GRIN. And now Soul is to be targeted on the Magnus. Chasing him down is Ravens, but a nice skewer away here onto Wake Me Up. Soul might find himself a Klink's pickup. The disarms are there, blast off is out. Can they keep this Magnus alive? Rojo buys back, it's too late though. They have lost the mag. And Rojo might be dying back if he's not too cautious as he's been slowed up. And I think he's just dead.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And Ravens looking to clean up completely now with a full team up if they can find LGTK. LGTK will be alright, but GRIN kind of just dropping the ball there. I mean, that was... So Soul kills off the Bloodseeker on his own, takes the Aegis. That would, no RP commit will just get it done. And then he RPs and they just can't do it. Like, they stacked everything. RP and then an immediate duel. And then a lasso as well on top. Like, it was just complete panic mode.
They left the Omni Knight alone. Guardian Angel goes on and you don't have a nullifier. So all your physical output there is useless. You can't do much on your Magnus to try to win out that duel. Again, Muzi's been on point every single time to look for Italiano Gangstar. This time he felt pressured, even though there was no real pressure, to look for the duel onto the Bloodseeker. Like you mentioned, RP was still there. Lasso was there. They needed to have at least one piece of control to stop that Omni Knight from saving, but this time the save comes in clutch. A big win for the side of Ravens. GRIN. Messing up quite a fair bit. Like that's a massive opportunity thrown away. And in this game, it doesn't feel like you have any straightforward nullifier carriers. Perhaps Soul could build it. But again, he's kind of going all in on a Daedalus and an AC. He wants to be the main damage dealer for the team. I suppose you could try and Muzi, but he's already going to be in the duels anyway, right when the Guardian Angel wants to pop off, so he's also not the ideal. 7k lead for Ravens. It's not too bad for GRIN to come back into, but you'd be kicking yourself hard after that kind of play.
Yeah, absolutely. 6k advantage now sitting there for Ravens. Ravens in the driver's seat now. I mean, mind you, this Magnus is still hella scary, and of course Soul is going for a Daedalus up next. Big damage to come from him. Of course, Argus trying to work towards the butterfly, which is going to make life much more challenging for the Magnus, I'm sure. For now, though, yeah, I suppose even with the butterfly, you got to be worried about the cleave damage, to be fair. Like, if you get a big RP and you just hit somebody else apart from the Bloodseeker, that cleave damage does not care about your evasion. With a Daedalus up, you can just get bursted anyway. Can be kind of ridiculous.
A little something extra for the effort.
We'll have the output. And they just need to coordinate in this one. Even, especially if that butterfly comes online soon. Muzi has the BKB up, so or else he can start these fights a little bit safer. Key target has to be Italian Gangster every single time. Find that Omni Knight. If you don't, then you're not winning these fights. You have to delay your RPUs. You have to delay your lasso. You have to delay everything to give yourself that opening here. And the Ravens, they're just so confident now. They're grouped up. They've taken over the top jungle. They're taking a forward spot. GRIN just trying to farm up what they can while they can. And did Soul change itemization? He's queuing up the Orchid now, so it looks like he wants a Bloodthorn.
Still taking their time. Mid lane, RRL. He's going to show himself in the creep wave. LGTK's around the corner. Likes what he sees. Will break the Lincoln tier. Does take the swashbuckle for himself. Group up is here from Ravens though. Looks like they're ready for another big fight. Smoke is going to be popped. GRIN retreating already though. Through the bot lane. They'll run up north.
Radiant are scanning.
I say that though, GRIN. Oh, they've separated a little bit. I'm not sure if they want to go in like this. LGTK going to be spotted. RRL will make the immediate jump in. Rojo is thinking about going in for a lasso, but decides better off it as now they realize the smoke was there. And immediately, GRIN will retreat. Ravens, I mean, not the biggest kill in the world for themselves, but they do position themselves nicely for the next Roshan now, which is up in about 40 seconds.
We've just been on point with timing this Roshan, taking control around that area. Inside of GRIN, they've... Again, it feels like this lineup fights into Roche so damn well, but they just haven't. They've not been in that area. They don't have forward wards to watch that pit. Inside of Ravens just continue to take control in this game. 4K up, not as bad. They're doing a great job of equalizing on the side of GRIN. Man, these objectives are what matters. Tier 2 now being shoved in just a bit. Fortify committed out from the side of GRIN to stall out a little bit more. And they do find a DD for Rojo Fireflu. They might be able to do something with that, but again, they're just not in position to do anything. They're just allowing the side of Ravens to take what they want at the moment. Full butterfly up now as well. This is when things really start to get scary. And to kill Argus, you have to kind of cleave through everyone else now if you're Soul. And I don't know, the coordination's just dropped off. A halberd up for Italian or Gangstar. So this Omni has to be top priority. It already was, but even more so now. You've got to stop that disarm, because that will just ruin Soul's gameplay.
Roshan now going to be the big target though, John Ravens. Going to move in and continue trying to secure this game to victory. No contest as well. GRIN just are not in position to try and counter this Roshan play. Be taken for free again. Cheese available on Italiano Gangster. Lines being drawn straight through the top lane. It seems like the Raven squad kind of indicating to us that they want to go high ground, and there's your smoke up as 4. GRIN gonna be in that high ground position though. I mean, they should be expecting the smoke to come. Thorn is completely up now for Soul on the mag. The thing is, though, he hasn't saved any buyback gold. So this is a pretty all-in play for Soul. Mind you, now you don't really care about the butterfly so much as long as you have the Bloodborne against the Bloodseeker. Station does not matter anymore. Ravens not seeing the opportunity they wanted. They are going to back off, but now GRIN go for the smoke up, looking to maybe head into that dire triangle. And Argus does reveal his position with that blood right. But GRIN seemed to believe he has teammates around him, so they will not rush towards that area. Instead, heading towards the left of the map, trying to find maybe a secure place to farm here for themselves. But all the camps are pretty much cleared out.
Scanning.
Had they run towards the Bloodseeker, they would have had a huge pick-off for themselves if they caught him out. But instead, they are going to avoid the fight for now. Which I suppose is fair, considering he does have an Aegis, but... had they known?
Had they known, would have been a big pick-off for sure. I think at the least, GRIN's high ground defense is pretty on point. And RP is always a massive threat. You can kind of lasso people behind. You can stand quite a fair bit away here on Salivating Salamander and just get the Mortimer Kisses off. So your high ground def is good. You can always fight into whatever Ravens might want to do. Ravens, however, they still have that bailout until Yano Gangstar. And if the Guardian Angel goes on, you just win the fight.
Rupture is out. LGTK gonna take the Rupture immediately. They're trying to keep him healed up. The Soul's gonna jump in. Skewer is out onto the Bloodseeker, onto the high ground, underneath that tier 3 tower, and now the lasso gonna drag him back into the tier 4 towers. They've got the Aegis down. It's looking like a good setup already for GRIN, but can they land the follow-up RP? It's not out yet. Guardian Angel's going to be procced here, so the Jewel does absolutely nothing from Moosies. He does go down, but now the 4-man RP, but he misses the skewer. Oh, he missed the skewer. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Had he landed the skewer, I mean, you might have just had a 4-man wipe. Drag him underneath those tier 4 towers with the cleave damage. Anyway, regardless, fight is still going. Italiano Gangster going to be dragged back into the tier 3 of the bot lane. He's still pretty tanky though, eating the cheese up and turning right back in onto Muzi. And still there, I mean, I don't know if Ravens can really stick around to try and go high ground. Without the Aegis up now, you've always got that looming threat of Skewer and Lasso into tier 4s. So they are going to play it safe. They will retreat.
Yeah, they back off. Again, the high ground def of GRIN is pretty damn good if they can land her spell. It's unfortunate for Sola. He did a little bit of a sidestep before the skewer back. I'm not sure why. Maybe he felt like if he skewered back, they would have died and lost. Perhaps. Does cost them. Right? Like maybe he was just worried that they had enough damage, enough output on Ravens that you couldn't punish them under tier 4s. It's a bit strange, but that was a very on-purpose kind of sidestep. So I'm pretty sure he must have had that. Maybe it's also just the fact that, again, it was near the ramp, and that's always a bit awkward with your viewpoint, depending on where your camera's at. So his player perspective might have been skewed a little bit by having the camera a little bit more on the upper right, rather than dead center on the ramp. Causes him to miss. Could be a couple of factors. Still, Ravens, they're at the point where you're going to have to deal with basically a core clinks at this point. When Wake Me Up is going into the Dateless, he's going all in on the damage with the Nullifier up. So the pressure is really just down to Soul. And he has to constantly land these big RPs. He has to constantly find these opportunities with a Harpoon. And also on Muzi to kind of get these duels off before the Guardian Angel's up. Because if they don't, again, these team fights are kind of ruined for the side of Ravens. For the side of GRIN. So a lot of things have to happen in a very specific manner for GRINs, but they're not out of it yet. Ravens respect that high ground. They play it safe. Next Roche, and we'll find a respawn in less than 3 minutes. They are again in position to just take control of that pit. No outside vision for GRIN. Map control's not their way, so it's very hard to reach that Roche pit on either end of the map.
Well, 15k advantage now for Ravens, rather. It's their game to lose, that's for sure. I mean, at this stage of the game, to be fair, it doesn't feel like the net worth's making all that difference, because Soul's the big guy you need to worry about. Like, if you can take down the mag, the fight's pretty much as good as over. He has proven to be quite elusive, though. Now the Satanic to be worked on here for the Magnus, things could get even more challenging. Argus, in the meantime, has got himself a Basher now coming out of the Bloodseeker. Green are the ones though that are still proving to be the more aggressive team at the moment because they're pushing in the bottom tier too. Well, the tier 2 is eventually going to go down. Just letting the creep wave do the work. It's like Ravens are waiting for the next Roshan again, which is still up in a minute 20. But at least GRIN, they are forced back to the dire base now because Ravens are forcing this creep wave in consistently. They actually never finished off that bottom tier 2 tower, so there is that. I do wonder what GRIN intend to do with this next Roshan, because the thing is, Ravens have gotten first dibs on Roshan every single time. And it does feel like at this point you don't really want to give the next Roshan away again to Ravens, but it's like do you force the fight in the pit? Do you wait for them to just take the Aegis and go high ground? Like, hard decisions to be made by GRIN.
I like how this one feels.
This will do nicely.
Meanwhile, Kara just mining up the whole of this area, so the Roshan pit's going to be very well protected here by Kara. I mean, why not? Like, these mines just do so much damage. You know, it's just starting off the next fight on the wrong foot is never a good start here if you are GRIN. It's going to be a hell of a lot of mines around this place.
There is. I appreciate the mines around the upper jungle as well up top. I think that forms a pretty nice line. Enemy map, very aesthetically pleasing, Mike.
Italian Gangster shows up. Roshan's an immediate respawn, by the way. They do head over to that area. The Roshan pit going to be very popular suddenly. Mind you, all those mines that were placed, sadly not going to do too much right now. He gets caught first. All 10 heroes down at this bottom Roshan pit area. There is going to be a smoke pop here by GRIN. They're going to go as 5. Wake me up. He does get caught in the clinks. Immediately at least one to be bursted down, though he's surviving longer than expected, but finally does drop this now. LGTK gonna get taken down as well on the Rubik. There is a buyback here on the clinks, so GRIN looking to try and retreat as soon as possible. Soul, however, has been kind of left behind in the mag. That's the one target they don't want to lose right now, but he gets bashed up. He'll commit the RP, but the Heavenly Grace is gonna make it so there's no damage being dealt, and Soul is down. Muzi will drop to boot. Rojo Firefly gonna try for the TP away, but is not gonna make it. That Omni Knight being left alone just makes it impossible for the mag to do anything.
It's just, again, you have to target that Omni Knight. You have to take Italian Gangstar out. They've had several fights where this Guardian Angel's been an issue. They jump the gun. They get the pressure to just find a pick off and back off, but you can't do that anymore. You're not in the state of game where you can afford to do that. High ground opens up now. Even without the Roshan, you have buyback ready in Soul, but without the RP, I don't know if you have enough.
Here we go. Glyph's going to be forced out the mid lane. Raven's just forcing it in here. Rupture committed on Salivating Salamander. It'll give Soul the reason to buy back into this. 2 lanes were being taken at the same time as well, by the way. Ravens now. So they want to go back towards the Roshan. Just try to secure that instead. Play it safe. High ground will be successfully defended just off the back of this RP threat, or even, well, not even the RP threat because it's not even up. Just the threat of the Magnus is more than enough for Ravens to just go down the conservative route, even with a 26k net worth advantage. So Ravens, 3rd Roshan of the game. Aghanim's Blessing is going to be available here, I believe, probably for Argus. Oh, no, in fact, no, not Argus. Excuse me. We're not getting the Blood Mist. Never mind. Who do you give it to? I mean, do you want Italian Gangster maybe even? Because then you have the Global Guardian Angel, so he can literally just stand in base and press R if he needs to.
Yeah, it is going to him. The smarter choice, but not as funny as Blood Mist. And now this game pretty much feels unwinnable from GRIN, I'll be frank with you, Mike. Unless they somehow jump this Omni Knight first, it's just unwinnable. And the positioning of Italian Gangster means that he should, the best bet for him is to actually just literally stay on the opposite side of his team, have the team fight happen, pop R, and then just laugh. There's no counterplay. No nullifiers on GRIN being built up. No way for them to handle these fights. Italian Gangster has done an amazing job with his positioning after dying a couple of times in duel. Afterwards, just never happening again. Well, let's see. I mean, this high ground threat is still there from GRIN.
There's your Rupture being committed here onto LGTK. Multiple lanes being split push again because Wake Me Up is at top, but Soul's been casually waiting in the tree line hoping to find his Clinks. Problem is though, the bottom lane is also being forced in and Soul is not there. So the tier 3 tower does drop. Soul now does show up down at bot lane. Skewer is going to be out. They found RRL, but there's your Guardian Angel being committed. Mind you, it was just a Skewer. RP was not committed quite yet, so it could be still a decent team fight for GRIN. The Kara gonna blast off in. Lasso is there on the Techies though. They do lose the Rubik, and the Techies is still alive thanks to this Heavenly Grace. So Argus in the meantime still just going after the bot lane of Barracks, does take it out. Going into the mid lane now with the Aegis up, still feeling very, very confident. Soul, RP, he's got 2 targets with this. No Guardian Angel this time around. Argus, however, he'll survive just eating the cheese in the Bloodseeker. He actually swapped it out last second, and it does pay off. Now without the RP, it feels very challenging to try and actually defend this high ground. They are still trying their absolute best here. Argus being jumped on by a salivating salamander, but it's not going to prove to be enough, as now maybe the skewer back will do the job. But Argus just fighting back, just not scared of anything, finding the kill on Soul. No buyback available on the Magnus. Muzi down as well on the LC. No buyback on him either. GRIN not calling it yet. Argus going for the dive past the tier 4 towers. Will finally lose the Aegis perhaps? No, apparently not. Finally does. There you go.
Yeah.
And they've got the next.
The
Mega Creeps incoming.
The reflexes coming out here from Argus has been on point. Immediate Abyssal after the skewer back. Sure, the Guardian Angel didn't feel as big, but it doesn't even matter in this fight now. GRIN's still holding on. They'll have the Rubik back up. I don't know what the trio can do up against this, though.
There goes the tier 4 towers. Ancient exposed completely. GRIN, I mean, they're trying to delay this, but the GG well played is called. And that'll be a 1-1 for this series here between Ravens and GRIN. Forced to a game number 3 between these two teams. We're going all the way. Just 3 games.